And he's off. Craig's getting closer. He'll jump straight down toward the rotating blades of a second helicopter. A 21,000-pound bus over a row of 15 motorcycles. He is daring to accept our challenge to jump the world-famous monster truck Bigfoot over a row of cars in a 75-foot-long tractor trailer. There you see the entire distance that Dan will have to take that monster truck. Keep in mind that the ramp is just under 5 feet high, and the tractor trailer is more than 13 feet high. Getting the 10,000-pound Bigfoot high enough to clear the truck and all the cars is the challenge. And he's off. He hits the ramp. Oh! And he's over. He's made it. But he's crashed and he's lost a wheel. Well, he made it over the trailer with ease, but the front wheel, the front axle broke off. We're hoping he's okay. The fire and safety personnel are on the scene. Our cameras are moving in. We can see Dan moving inside the cab. It looks like he's okay. While he climbs out of the truck, let's take another look at that incredible jump. Check out the height that the truck reached before it came crashing down on its right front wheel. Amazing. There's Dan now, escorted by I Dare You stunt coordinator Joe Scorpion. Let's listen in.
Hell of a jump, bro. Man, oh man.
That look says it all. Let's go to Tracy.
Dan, when did you know you nailed it?
Well, I mean, it went pretty straight. It was a little hard going to the ramp. We had to fight it all the way to the ramp. Running back and forth. We made it. It just a tough landing. I mean, it nosed in and the front suspension just won't take it. Broken knuckle. And the knuckle goes, the tire goes, and everything goes with it.
Here's a scene from underneath your truck.
That's like, actually, you can see how I'm turning the front steering, you know, to get it straight for the ramp. And that's one of them things that, like I said, it was on top. It was trying to hook up. The truck was fighting. I was fighting the truck, and it's just floating back and forth on top of a hard surface, and it's just a hard thing to get a hold of. Hurt the truck bad.
What were your thoughts the moment you became airborne?
I knew it was up in the air. I mean, I knew it was up in the air. A little fire behind, you know, it was like, wow, where did that hell come from? It lost it.
And let's take a look at what it looked like from Dan's point of view inside Bigfoot. Wow, what a ride. Now let's take a look from our stratosphere cam. You can bet they saw this fireball all over Las Vegas. And one last thing, Dan officially jumped 175 feet for you. Here's the scene at our stunt site on the Las Vegas Strip, where stuntman Shane Anderson is about to live up to his nickname, Torch. Shane has accepted our dare to ride a kneeboard across a raging lake of fire, and it looks like he's ready to go. Here's Tyler.
And here we go. There is Shane Torch Anderson, the consummate showman. He's coming out of his truck there, and he's putting on a little show for everybody. This is more than just a stunt for him. As you can see, he's dressed to thrill in a tuxedo of all things. Right now, Shane is putting on his protective Nomex hood, and once he gets his helmet on, it's really going to be impossible for him to see. This is going to be unbelievable. The lake is 300 feet long, 60 feet wide, and the temperature is going to reach in excess of 2,000 degrees in the center. And he's going to be going completely blind through it. He's got to rely on the test runs that he did, remembering where to take the turns and where to make the cuts. And that's what it's all going to come down to. It's going to come down to the practice and determination to get this stunt just right. We've got the propane ready to go. The torches are ready to go. Gasoline spread across the entire lake bed. This thing is going to go up, and it's going to go up big. His safety helmet is in place right now, and as you can see, an assistant is applying a thick coating of rubber cement to Shane's tuxedo jacket. Now, that's not to hold the jacket together. That's because Shane is also going to be set on fire just as he takes off. Rubber cement is highly flammable and is often used in movie stunts because it lights quickly, and when it burns bright. Okay, it looks like we're ready to go. The crew is standing by with their torches. Shane is getting down on the kneeboard, strapping himself to the board because he doesn't want to lose it out there in the middle of that lake of fire. He's got the tow rope, and it's time. There's his assistant, Lori. She's got the signal to torch the lake. Flame has been lit. It's racing down the ramp into the lake. Okay, the torch is down. The lake is starting to go up. The rest of the lake is going up right in front of Shane Torch Anderson. It's really going now. Some thick black smoke here pouring off the lake. Look at that cyclone of flames. The gasoline is being sprayed onto the water, and it's an incredible inferno. And there goes Shane. He's on fire. Wow, he is just flying through those gigantic waves of fire. Shane's on the course. He's going great. It's looking very good so far. And that horn indicates that he has made it safely to the other side. But he's down. He's still on fire. Shane fell into some fuel that was spilled on the ground, and now he's completely on fire. He's stumbling back towards the lake. He can't see inside that helmet. The safety crew rushes in. They're trying to get the fire out. It's out. He is up. His helmet is off, and he seems to be all right.
He looks to be all right, but while we wait for Tyler to get over to him, let's take another look at this amazing stunt. There goes Shane through the 2,000-degree fire. He's carving through the water with amazing skill, even though he's basically blinded by the flames. Incredibly, he manages to maneuver across the lake just the way he planned it. Tyler's with him right now.
Shane, I'd shake your hand, but you're looking a little hot, my friend. How you doing? How did it go?
It was great. It was hot.
Oh,
I felt like I was blazing. Was I blazing?
you looked hot to me. What about the actual stresses on your body as you're going through not just the fire itself, but also the actual effect of having to, hold on basically as that truck is dragging you along?
I noticed I was holding on by the fingertips here for a second, and I knew I had to just keep holding on. I wanted to get to the end.
What happened here at the end? You came out, you landed on this little area right here?
I lost it. I had no more strength after all these tests and the heat of all this and being on fire. And I mean, this was a lot of energy put into this stunt. I gave up at the end here. And obviously we had some residue fuel left here, so.
Yeah, it sure was a frightening sight. Luckily, the safety crew got to you so fast. The flames were out, and it was a relief to see you, stand up and take off the protective hood.
Let's call that a wrap on that one.
Shane Torch Anderson navigates the lake of fire to a T, looking fantastic.
Here's the scene in Kingman, Arizona, where Daredevil Doug Danger has accepted our challenge to attempt the unthinkable, jumping his motorcycle over an L-1011 jumbo jet. This is how the stunt is designed to work. Doug will race his customized 500cc dirt bike down a 1,200-foot-long runway. He'll get the bike up to his jumping speed of exactly 73 miles per hour. Then, he'll launch himself off a ramp that's 120 feet long, 20 feet high, but only 4 feet wide. Doug will then attempt to fly over the airplane the long way, wing to wing, a total distance of 160 feet. Doug's landing ramp is only 8 feet wide, which gives him a very small margin of error. There are very few daredevils in the world brave enough to take on a full-size jetliner. So today, Doug is definitely facing the ultimate challenge. Doug is just completing his practice runs to warm up the bike and get the feel of the roadway. It looks like he's heading back to the starting line, so let's go to Tyler Harcott.
Well, Doug looks confident. He's been familiarizing himself with the terrain, which is very important. You have to remember he's got to travel 1,200 feet before he hits that ramp, and 1,000 feet is packed dirt, and the final 200 are paved roadway. Doug has to make sure that that transition from the dirt to the asphalt doesn't give him any problems as he gets that bike up to 73 miles an hour. Again, the ramp is only 4 feet wide and very steep. He's going to have to use all his skills to keep that bike centered as he attempts to launch himself over that jumbo jet. Now, making the challenge even more difficult, Doug's going to be racing into a powerful headwind, which is starting to pick up, and it's even stronger at the jumping altitude about 30 feet above the ground. But Doug is obviously hoping that he doesn't get blown off course since his landing ramp is only 8 feet wide. All right, we're getting away from Doug's crew, and that means the test runs are over. He's ready to go for it. This is a critical comeback jump for Doug Danger. And he is off. Doug is racing the bike up to speed. Everything looks good. Doug is right on course. There's the transition to the pavement. He's on the ramp, and there he goes. He's down. That was a fantastic jump. Unbelievable. Doug Danger jumps over a jumbo jet and makes a flawless landing.
Amazing! While Tyler heads over to Doug, let's take another look at that breathtaking jump. We were afraid that the headwinds might have given Doug some problems on his approach, but the takeoff was picture perfect. Doug's confidence and skill makes it look easy. Right now, he's celebrating a job well done with his crew, and Tyler's in the middle of the action.
A fantastic jump there from Doug Danger. Oh my gosh, I can't believe it. It looks so smooth. Tell me about it from start to finish.
Well, I was going at the ramp and I was hammering all the way to get the speed up. And I got about up to around 60, 65 miles an hour. And believe it or not, at that speed, I could feel the headwind started kicking up. And I was trying to decide, should we back out or should we go? And, you know, we're all out here ready to go. I knew my mother was sitting there waiting for a phone call. She's about ready to have a heart attack, you know. So I just says, you know, let's get this one done. And I thought I had enough speed. We were a whisker short. We were saying about 2 to 3 feet short, but we still nailed it, hung on. You know, the good Lord rode with me on that one. And, you know, again, I want to say happy birthday to my son, Scott. And this one was for you.
It was an unbelievable stunt. Is Doug Danger back on the scene?
Well, after I had my accident, everybody kept saying, Doug, you're still number one, you're still number one. But I always felt like it was Doug Danger from another lifetime, because I had to learn everything all over again. Right now, after this jump, thanks to the I Dare You people, I'll claim that Doug Danger is still number one, and it's in this lifetime, man.
Doug Danger living up to the number that's right here on his bike, number one, and he proved it right here on I Dare You, the ultimate challenge.
El Dorado Dry Lake Bed, 20 miles from the Las Vegas Strip, where Daredevil pilot Craig Hosking will attempt the most daring aerial stunt of all time. He's going to crash his plane into the back of a semi-truck. This stunt is so dangerous that it's never been attempted before. Here's the plan. Craig will be flying in at about 80 miles per hour when he attempts to crash his 31-foot-wide single-engine plane into the back of this 8-foot-wide tractor-trailer as it rumbles across the desert. Without the wings, the fuselage is 6 feet wide. So he's only got 12 inches of clearance on either side.
Our biggest concern on something like this is fire. So we're taking all the fuel, which is normally in the wings, taking the tanks out, and putting a small amount of fuel in a crash tank in the very back of the plane where we hope it won't be ruptured.
The tractor trailer is moving into position for the stunt. Imagine the nerves of steel of stunt driver Bobby Orr, who was at the wheel and about to become a moving target. Roger LaRue has just cleared Craig for takeoff. He's now heading down our makeshift runway in the middle of the desert. And there he goes. Craig Hosking soars into the sky for a stunt so dangerous that no one else would dare try it. Here's how it looks from inside the cockpit. We'll see the crash exactly as Craig sees it. Right now, Craig is roughly 1 mile from the truck, but closing fast. All right, Craig is lined up with the truck. This is it. If it's gonna happen, it's got to happen right now. The truck is kicking up a lot of dust as it rumbles along, and that's got to be causing some visibility problems. Craig's getting closer. He's gonna do it. Unbelievable! Craig Hosking is in the truck. And what a crash. Look at the back of that truck. Roger LaRue, Joe Scorpion, and our safety team are swiftly moving in. Apparently, there's still fuel left in the plane, and it doesn't take much to start a fire. They've got to get Craig out of that wreckage, and right now. Roger's in there trying desperately to get him out. Pushing away the side of that semi-truck. Let's go to Tracy Melcher, who's in the middle of the action.
The wings didn't come off. They couldn't predict what would happen with this because something like this has never been done before. They're tearing apart. Oh my gosh, it's incredible! I can see Craig. He gave us a thumbs up. Okay, he's okay. He's okay. He's okay. Awesome, awesome, awesome. You did it! Can you take me through it? Can you take me through your flight?
Well, there was as I got down behind the truck, quite a bit of turbulence. So you probably see it was adjusting quite rapidly. And then once I got in right below where it belonged, it got nice and smooth. And as you can see, it was pretty much a bullseye, right on the mark.
What was the impact like?
It was a little harder deceleration than I thought it would be. There was, the back of the truck didn't give quite as much as I thought. And it stopped a little bit more abruptly than I thought. And right up the pipe, right where it belonged.
Let's take a look at the stunt from inside the cockpit. There you see the truck. He's coming in. Wow, look at that. A dead-on hit. Let's go now to the view from the inside of the truck. The picture's breaking up a bit, but you can just make out the plane coming into view. Wow. Roger LaRue tells us that Craig actually came very close to disaster. That semi created a powerful draft, and only an expert flyer could have made it into the back of that truck. There are few sights as horrifying as a train colliding with a car. But it happens every 2.5 hours in the United States, and all too often the results are tragic. A 3,000-pound car is no match for a locomotive. So who would be brave and skilled enough to place himself on a collision course with a 1 million-pound freight train? Our own stunt coordinator, Joe Scorpion, is the only person who could conceive of a stunt this dangerous, and is the only person brave enough to try it. So now Joe's going to step out from behind the I Dare You cameras and climb into the driver's seat. Here's how it should work. Joe will try to jump his Z28 Camaro through a gap in a speeding freight train. That gap will be created by a single 52-foot-long flatbed car placed in the middle of a row of solid steel boxcars. If Joe is 1 second too fast or too slow, he could slam head-on into one of those boxcars, and the results could be disastrous.
We're waiting for the red flag to drop. Gilly is on the front of the train. Steve at the head of the ramp, ready to give Joe. That's the signal Joe is looking for, the red flag dropping. Okay, Gilly's waving his flag. The train is 542 feet away and closing in fast. Joe has the green light, and there he goes. Train is moving. Here comes Scorpion. He is through! That is unbelievable!
That is unbelievable. Joe Scorpion has done it. He somehow managed to jump his car through a narrow opening in a speeding train. An unprecedented stunt, and you saw it right here on I Dare You. His excited safety crew is racing to pull him out of his car. He's got to be thrilled, but it couldn't have gone any better. Here's another look.
Train is moving. Here comes Scorpion. He is through! That is unbelievable!
Here's how it looked when he hit that ramp at 50 miles an hour and sailed through the narrow opening in that speeding freight train. Check out the perfect timing. Here it is from another angle. Joe couldn't have made a more perfect approach. He races down the straightaway in 14.7 seconds, and now he hits the ramp precisely at the right moment to clear the boxcar and fly over the flatbed through that enormous blast of fire. That was a 1 million pound freight train Joe was facing down, and only Joe Scorpion, the stuntman, had the nerve to take it on. It's another history-making moment right here on I Dare You, the Ultimate Challenge. So what's going on out at the El Dorado dry lake bed in the Mojave Desert? Daredevil Super Joe Reed has accepted our challenge to do the unthinkable, to bungee jump toward the whirling blades of a helicopter. Here's how it's gonna happen. First, we start with 2 A-Star helicopters. One will be on the ground with its 3 propellers rotating at top speed. The other copter will be hovering directly above at an altitude of 200 feet. Super Joe will be aboard that helicopter attached to a 160-foot bungee cord. He'll jump out of the copter and plunge straight down toward those razor-sharp blades. If all goes as planned, the bungee cord will snap back in time, preventing Joe from being torn to shreds. Let's go to I Dare You reporter Connie Willis.
I'm with Super Joe Reed right now. You're all set and ready to go?
All set and ready to go. The world can watch. We're going to do something that was, right up to now, been impossible.
All right. Super Joe is ready to take the bungee jump of his life.
Let's go.
Right now, Daredevil Super Joe Reed is in a helicopter 200 feet above the Mojave Desert. He's positioned himself out on the skid, and in just moments from now, he'll jump straight down toward the rotating blades of a second helicopter that's directly beneath him. There's his wife Jennifer and his son Super Joey watching from the ground. You can bet they're nervous seeing Joe perched high above those grinding, razor-sharp blades. The crane that you see alongside Joe's helicopter gives the pilot an idea of how high he needs to hover. His altitude is critical so that Joe doesn't get torn to shreds by the helicopter on the ground. Here's the view looking down from the top helicopter. He's now moving further out onto the skid, which he will use as a launching pad. All right, Super Joe is ready to go, and so are we.
Very few people get to see. 4, 3, here we go. 2, 1.
And there he goes. Oh my God, he's made it! Amazing! The cord pulled him away from those blades just in the nick of time. But Joe's not out of the woods yet. This stunt isn't over until Joe is safely back on the ground. As Joe is lowered down, the crew is rushing over to catch him. All right, they've got him. Super Joe Reed survives the world's most dangerous bungee jump. Here it is in slow motion. Joe's free fall lasted only a few terrifying seconds, but to him it must have seemed like an eternity. As he comes within feet of those deadly blades, all of the careful planning and calculation has paid off.
Super Joe Reed, tell me step by step how it went for you.
It's thrilling. I like this work. I love this work. I looked down. They were giving me the 5 count. I counted out loud myself. On 1, I go. I put my hands out straight out like that. The feeling is awesome. It's like you're on a roller coaster, one of the kinds that flip around and twist, and you fall out. That's what it feels like.
Tell me, if you can tell me about the jump itself, what you saw on the way down.
I saw everything. I didn't blink. I took a deep breath before I went, and I literally reached right for the blades. I went right at the helicopter.
Super Joe Reed, loving every hard-stopping desert 20 miles outside Las Vegas. Fearless flyer John Helton is preparing to take on the ultimate aerial challenge. Here's what he'll attempt to do. John will fly his 1941 Piper Cub dangerously close to the ground as a 1-ton cargo van driven by John Shequin travels directly below him at 55 miles per hour. John will attempt to match Jim's ground speed and then, incredibly, land the plane on top of the speeding van. The vehicle has a custom landing pad, but it's only 8 feet long by 8 feet wide, with a small pad at the rear of the van for the plane's tail section. So this landing has to be perfect. Our reporter Tyler Harcott has more.
Today, John is embarking on his most challenging mission ever. Let's take a look at some of the dangers he's about to face.
We've got to put this airplane down in a very confined area. I have small wheel wells on top of the van. I have to place the main landing gear wheels directly in those wheel wells. Failing that, then anything could happen. I could slide off the back of the van, off the one side, or possibly even over the front. Very little error can be tolerated. I'd say for width, a maximum of 10 inches. That'd be about 5 inches left, 5 inches right.
Well, we're about to put all that careful planning to the test. So while John is making his last-minute safety checks, let's go to Tyler.
You can hear the plane revving up behind me. Stunt pilot John Helton is ready to go. He's made his final checks. This is now or never time. The aerial coordinator, Roger LaRue, says this is it. Everything is ready and ready to roll. But the wind is picked up. That has added an extra element to this stunt. This is going to make it very, very difficult. And this is something that nobody was really looking forward to. We were hoping for a nice, clear stunt, but it adds an extra element, so we're going to go with this.
This is going to be great. All right, John is closing in fast on the van. He said the one thing he never got to do in his military career was to land on an aircraft carrier, and today he's determined to land on what he's calling the world's smallest aircraft carrier, a 79 Chevy van. The wind is giving him a lot of trouble, though. This is a difficult and dangerous stunt to begin with, but the desert wind is now making it almost impossible. He's getting closer. He's looking touch and go here. He's almost on the van, but he's really getting tossed around. This is so dangerous.
Take it away, break off, boys, break off.
He is aborting, he's pulling away. I guess John was having just too much trouble fighting those powerful winds. We'll have to wait and see if he's going to try this again.
All right, John, you were real close there, pal. Biting nails a little bit. It'll look real nice, though. Good try, guys. We'll wait until the dust clears and try it again.
Here we go. You can hear it revving up behind us. Starting to pick up. Here comes John Helton just over top of us. Wow, that is unbelievable. The speed here and how you can just feel him coming over. We're going to take a look behind now and see if he can make the jump.
He's coming down now, but it still looks like he's having trouble with those fierce desert winds. They're really blowing him around now. I hope we don't have to wave him off a second time. It looks like he's getting better control of the plane. It's looking very, very good. Very windy, though. Very windy. He looks like he's down. He is landed on the van. Oh, yeah. Look at the plane, though. Look at the plane. The plane is still moving around on there. So both John and Jim, the driver of the van, are still in very real danger. The tail has to touch down and the van has to drop below 45 miles per hour, and then they'll be safe. Tail is beginning to drop. There it goes. Fantastic. Okay. Yeah.
Love and light. Very nice. Good one, Jim.
John, if we get you to come down here.
Thank you. That works.
It's John Helton just coming out of the Piper Cup. He's just landed it on this van. John, well done, sir.
We should be blowing kites out here today.
I'm telling you, this was not easy. It was a heart stopper.
Yeah, it was a good one.
John, a little bit nerve-wracking on the second run.
That was a week's work.
Steve Hudis is about to attempt to jump a 21,000-pound bus over a row of 15 motorcycles. If you remember how jarring it is riding a school bus over a speed bump, imagine being in this one as it's launched off of a ramp. The pyrotechnics team is filling the steel pods with gasoline right now. Those motors will be ignited by remote control just as Steve clears the ramp. There'll be a huge explosion, so he'll actually be flying through a massive fireball. We're getting word that Steve is ready to go. Tyler's gonna take us through the stunt.
All right. 21,000 pounds of power at the end of the runway. That is Steve Hudis. And we have got some acceleration. Steve is stepping on the gas. He is moving towards the runway. He's made the turn to the runway now. He is coming straight ahead, heading down this ramp. He's gaining speed as we go here, trying to get up to 55, hopefully 60 miles an hour. Here he comes. He's about to hit the ramp. He's looking straight. It looks good. There he goes. That is unbelievable. The whole bus engulfed in flames. This is a much bigger fire than we were expecting. The pyro crew really packed that bus with explosives. The fire department is moving in. And there's still no sign of Steve. Hopefully he's on his way out. Wait, there he is. He is out. Luckily, a crew member is there to break his fall as he jumps out of that burning bus. They are spraying him with foam right now. Let's hope he's all right. That was scary. All right, Steve is up. He's giving a thumbs up. It looks like he's okay.
Let's take another look at that incredible jump. It was a picture-perfect takeoff. And what an explosion. Look at those flames. The whole bus caught fire. Steve was inside that blazing death trap for at least 20 seconds after it landed and rolled to a stop. It was a terrifying moment watching that bus burn, knowing that Steve was still inside. It seemed like forever before he was able to fight his way through those flames and get out. But Steve's okay now, and it's going to be one tough record to break. Seen in the desert outside Tucson, Arizona. Hollywood stuntman Chuck Borden is about to attempt a pipe ramp jump that is so wild and so dangerous that it's never even been tried before. Here's what he plans to do. Chuck will strap himself into a four-wheel drive truck and then barrel down a railroad track at 45 miles per hour. He'll be driving straight toward a freight train that's rumbling along at about 11 miles per hour. That's not very fast, but keep in mind that Chuck is going head-to-head with 1 million pounds of unstoppable steel. Now, if all goes well, Chuck won't crash head-on into the train. That's because a pipe ramp has been mounted to the front end of the locomotive. At the last second, Chuck will hopefully hit the ramp and launch himself up into a corkscrew spin, missing the train by inches and landing safely at the side of the track.
Just moments away now from doing the car-truck collision with the pipe ramp. Chuck, happy with everything going into the stunt here?
Rehearsals went really well. Everybody seems to be real comfortable with it. I'm real comfortable. All the run-ups were real nice, and I think we've got a good thing going. Everything seems to be falling in place.
All right, Chuck Borden, ready to do a little duel in the desert here. It's showtime on I Dare You, the ultimate challenge. Good luck to you, Chuck.
Any second now, that million-pound freight train's going to start rumbling down the track. And here it comes. I don't know of anybody who would want to trade places with Chuck right now. There we see the flagman, Gilly. And once the train gets up to speed and passes him, he's going to wave that red flag. And that's going to signal Chuck to step on the gas. Also, keep in mind that speed really isn't the most important factor in this stunt. The alignment of the truck with the ramp is what matters the most. If Chuck hits the ramp straight on, he's going to be launched directly into the nose of the locomotive. He's got to hit that pipe ramp at exactly the right angle so his truck gets thrown clear of the train. We also have to remember that even if Chuck hits the ramp perfectly, he's going to be in for an extremely violent flight in that truck. He'll be rolling and tumbling in midair before he comes crashing down.
Stand by. Go!
All right, there's the signal from Gilly, and there goes Chuck. He's struggling to keep that truck on course. Okay. He's lined up. Here he comes. Oh no, something has gone wrong. It looked like Chuck hit the front of the train head on. He was supposed to fly up in the air and to the side, but as you see, that didn't happen. The crew is rushing in there to see if he's okay.
Right now, what they're trying to do is make sure that Chuck is okay. They're assessing his health right now. We're just waiting for the okay to get in and talk to Chuck. Just an amazing impact up against a train like this. Look at the damage that car has taken. Run me through the stunt
It felt real good. It got real squirrely coming down the track. I got real worried because as I shifted, it pitched way out on me. But once I hit the ramp, I have no idea what happened.
How are you feeling right now?
I'm good. No, I'm real good. I just saw a big flash around me and I felt a huge stop that just spit me around. The feeling is just the impact of the ramp, and then you really don't know from there. You just kind of get disoriented. This filled up with orange, so I saw nothing but fireball. And then next thing I know, I hit real hard, and then it spit back down. And next thing I know, I'm looking back the other way at the train. So
obviously, to me, you're sitting here right now. I'm talking to you, so it's a successful stunt. But in your eyes, from where you are, where you're sitting right now, is this how you wanted the stunt to turn out?
I understand the ramp broke, so it probably didn't give me the lift I was expecting. But you know what? When you walk away from stuff like this, it's a success, absolutely.
An absolutely fantastic stunt. Chuck Borden does the deed right here on I Dare You, the ultimate challenge.